Good morning, my pervies. Thank you for coming to another episode of Coffee and Cleavage. Today we have one of my favoriteest people in the whole wide world, Rebel.
Hey y'all, how we doing?
um, I'm bringing Rebel on today for the purpose of talking to somebody newer than myself on this journey. I'm still pretty new, but like she's baby new. So, I know that all of us, we're all in our own um, level of this journey. We're all on our own path, some newer than others, some haven't even started the journey. So I wanted to make sure that I took some time and talked to some people that were newer on the journey that may resemble you and ask them a few questions just to get their viewpoint on things and what it looks like to them coming into BDSM and especially leather. Um, so my first question for you, Rebel, is can you share what first sparked your interest in BDSM and leather?
I think it would be like curiosity about alternative forms of the intimacy and expression.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to go, about that route of things. Um, and that all these like communities are celebrated with consent, communication, and boundary exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that I've never really done in my vanilla life, like per se. And then just having your own personal exploration and understanding, your own desires and boundaries, while respecting others and
Yes.
their, um, you know, kind of where they're at and kind of being met where you are.
Right.
Um, and then like leather too, just holding yourself to, another standard of being, accountable for things. And, you know, um, I do like a lot of like the rules, I guess, that you follow and kind of hold yourself to these
Yeah.
expectations, because me not having certain things in place, like I don't run well off of that. So, to be honest, I don't. Like I go left. And I think having those things in place for me and being able to follow those and truly be, all those things truly resonate with me. And so yeah, that's what I think really sparked my interest about this personally. Um
And I just want to say that is what struck me about leather as well. The structure. When I was just in kinky spaces, I was just kind of, oh, we're just out here doing things for the sake of doing things, but why? What is the why behind it? Like, is there a reason why we're doing this? I mean, especially me being demisexual, is there a reason? Like, what is the reason? Because I mean, titties are great, you know.
yeah.
Ooh, look, it's a penis, but it really, it didn't really garner those responses that everybody else has. And then when I found leather, it was like I've always been leather and just didn't know it. And I felt like I was home. I was like, oh,
Yeah, it definitely resonates with you. Like it sits with you on a totally different level. That I think a lot of people can't understand because they're not there, or maybe they don't really know about it, just kind of like you or I, right? So we didn't know that
mhm,
we were. And then all of a sudden we start going around, being around these people and being in these spaces, and all of a sudden you're like, well, damn, this is me, you know?
exactly.
Um so I think that plays into a lot of things too, for like definitely from what, my viewpoint or what I see.
Okay. Okay. Um, so how did you begin your journey into the BDSM community? Were there any resources or communities that you found particularly helpful? I'm going to let you tell this story, even though I know it already. Continue.
Uh just kind of fell into it. I mean, I
That's
can't
what he
really.
said. That's what he said.
I mean,
Okay, sorry.
that's not what I heard, but for me, I mean, truthfully, I just fell into that and just started. I mean, I was always curious, like being younger, like being in California, and I was 18 or 19, and I went to a place called the Power Exchange. It's still running in San Francisco. I believe it was established in 1996. Um, and this is a place that you can walk in. It's kind of like a dungeon place. Like, you pay to walk in, and everything's set up. You have a cross. You have all these different rooms and different places that you can go in and watch if you want to, participate if you want to, do all of these things. And walking into that and not really knowing what I was really walking into, really, per
Right.
se, it just opened up like a lot of different doors for me, or a different outlook on things. And so I was like, oh shit, this is fucking amazing. And kind of explored a little bit here and there, but with the partners that I was with, I didn't really get a lot of that coming back, if that makes sense with what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really kind of did anything with it,
Right.
for me, just because I didn't have that other person to be able to explore those things with. And now
Right.
that I do, and now that I'm comfortable with my, like, me growing into this and me being more comfortable with myself, um, that's how that kind of helped me in this particular place.
Can you describe your first BDSM or leather community event experience? What was it like for you? I'm going to break it down in two folds. I want you to tell them about your small event experiences versus your large conference event experience, now that you've experienced both.
Been to both.
Yeah.
Um, so the smaller ones for me are CTX events, dark side events. Um, and I've built a lot of good relationships there, a lot of comfortability there, and that's how I learned how to truly be me and wouldn't be looked at any kind of way. Like, everybody's free to be who they are, and they're truly accepted in that space. Um, I mean, not saying that nobody isn't in any other space, but this is more like a really close, tight knit kind of place where a lot of people come to, that they feel that way, versus being in a larger place that they don't have that same kind of feeling.
Right.
Um, and I think that would be the difference for me, especially
Mhm.
just coming from SPLF. Um, like, a lot of people saw me around, a lot of people saw me doing a lot of things with LGOC because I was with my partner,
Mhm.
and supporting them and all their great things that they're doing. Um, but it just doesn't have that same feel to me. Um, so that's the difference from my own personal perspective, and I've where I've gone, what I've been around. Um,
All right. So since we're on the part about partners, your partner is Joy Perez, and she be doing all of the things.
all of the things.
And so I think um, a question that I would like to ask is, what is it like to date someone, to have a partner that is heavily within the community on the level that she is? How does that a promote growth, but not just the growth aspect? I also want us to be a little bit vulnerable and talk about some of the trials and tribulations that you come across that you have to kind of overcome. Not just being, with her as, who she is and everything that she does and she represents, but also being newer in these spaces.
She does a lot of things. I feel like I, I I think anybody that knows Joy, or knows of Joy, or has seen her presence via online, if they've never met her in person, knows that she's been around for quite some time. Um, and me just meeting her on a whim. I mean, it was never really anything that we've ever. I mean, I didn't really know her until I just walked up one day and met her in person, and it was never anything for us to be together or those kind of things. It just kind of happened. Um, but definitely, she casts a real big shadow to stand under. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just that it has me learned to be comfortable with my own self and with my own like self exploration and doing all the things, and that it's okay. It's okay to start somewhere and kind of learn and grow into the person I'm supposed to be. That comes with growth and evolving, right? And that's where everybody is going in this journey, or should be. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't be complacent and just be kind of here. And like she always says, if anybody's going to be with her, they have to be great. So here I am trying to be great. Um, and as far as like some of the vulnerable points, I feel like she gives me grace in some things. Learning for her being way up here and I'm still way down here and still learning a lot of things. And so um, she definitely tries to meet me where I'm at. And I feel like sometimes that kind of gives a struggle between us, um, because she, like I said, she's here and I'm here. And so trying to meet each other somewhere in the middle, or her kind of remembering that I'm not where she is, or where, her other partners are, that they started here, years ago,
Right.
um, and kind of rolling into that. And so those are some, I feel like, some trying things that we have between us. Um, but she definitely tries to meet me where I'm at. She definitely tries to encourage me and just kind of be like, hey, you're good. Take your time. I hear that from, Beast and Johan too, just take my time, I'm pretty sure that they can definitely see the growth too. That I'm not the same person I was a year ago when I first started
Definitely not.
this.
That's someone what I know. You're definitely not the
I'm a little more starting to get to be a little more outspoken, trying to find my voice here and my footing.
same.
And sometimes that's not easy sometimes. But definitely trying to grow into me and being more comfortable with who I am. Um, and to be able to kind of follow in that shadow. So um hopefully that answers your question. Um
Yes, it did. Thank you for sharing. Um, Once again, I think that that's a really important topic because, it gets scary out here in these streets. And I think that a lot of times people forget what it was like to be new, what it was like to be confused and trying to find yourself, and trying to figure out what this looks like for you while not reverting back into the vanilla and regular way of doing things in regards to trying to stick yourself within a peg. Like you want to be in a box, and the purpose of being over here is to be outside of the box. But you don't know how to be outside of the box if you're not exploring, and you're not learning, and you're not surrounding yourself with people that help you do all of those things. So I know that was a difficult question, kind of, sort of, but I just feel like it's something that a lot of people struggle with, even if they don't speak on it. And
well,
it's good here.
yeah, and I think too, like the validation from people too, or just like the community or family that you build, being able to bounce off of them too and just be like, hey, you know this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm doing, or just anything. Or hey, I have a question. I go to Panda a lot. If a lot of people don't know, Panda is helping mentor me in my own journey right now. And so sometimes when I don't feel comfortable having conversations or asking questions directly with Joy, I go to Panda. I go to Panda for a lot of things, or we have a lot of discussions or conversations or whatever. And so we bounce a lot of those things off of each other, and she's been my safe person for me, um, to go ahead and do that. Um, so I think that's also important too, to where you just don't stop and just like you said, and kind of revert back to the vanilla world. This is something, like I said, for you to try and find your footing and just kind of go with it, even if you start off small. Take your time. Take your time. It's important.
All right. I think that's great information. Another question is, how do you balance your BDSM interests with other aspects of your life, such as work or family or friendship?
Um, like friends and family, it's a little hard for me because all my family's in California. We're in a different time zone. Um, I do have a daily chat that I have with my best friends that we keep up with each other or talk to each other, even though we may not talk on the phone a lot or text a lot or things like that. Like we definitely say hey to each other, stay in constant communication with each other. Um, and just balancing my work life. I mean, in between the both, like, I mean, obviously you keep them separate. I mean, I do. I don't really try to share a lot of those things in my work life. Um, I don't really think anybody really does or truly does. But I just keep it separate and just roll with it. I mean, whatever I do in my workspace and things like that is what I do there, and what I do, you know, outside of that is what I do. But I don't. I mean, I just roll with that. That's how I do my day to day and balance it out, or you know, balance the two.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. I know for me, mine is starting to blur just a little bit. But I think that that comes from just the comfort. Um, and I'm also so forward facing with everything that I do, i.e., podcasts, teaching classes, things of that nature. Trying to do all of the things because Joy be driving me into all of the things. Um, I think that it's harder for me to balance and, you know, not blur. Now, I don't overshare because consent is a thing. And nobody wants to talk about this post you saw about anal plugs. Everybody's not interested in that fucking conversation. So consent, right? However, I am more forthcoming. I'm more forthcoming about my relationship style. I'm more forthcoming about just, I don't go into it, but yeah, no, I tell people, oh no, I live an alternative, you know,
That's that's what I
lifestyle.
say. I live an alternative lifestyle, and that's pretty much all you really need to know. So when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm taking time off for an event, is what I say. And then they'll be like, "Oh, hey, where are you going?" And I'm like, "I don't really think you really want to know.
Want to know where I'm
We'll
going?
just say that I live an alternative lifestyle, and I'm doing something
Alternative lifestyle.
alternative lifestyle. Yeah, that's it." And so just like you, I mean, I'm pretty open and honest. Like, I share a lot of things in on my social media. I mean, everybody knows. You know, I came out, I said, you know, all the things. Whoever's going to roll with me is going to roll with me. Whoever isn't, isn't. And that's fine. You know, this is the way that I choose to live my life, and I'm going to live it how I see fit. Um, and just like you said, you know, I mean, it kind of blurs a little bit, but I try not to overshare, kind of like you know, I just live an alternative lifestyle, and that's really all you need to know.
That's what it is. Now, if
Yeah.
we're close and you have a question, I have no problem answering it. And I've had people come and ask me about being poly and what that looks like and jealousy. I'm like, ooh, sis, y'all don't even want to know about it. Cause some days I'm smooth and other days I'm ready to knock all this shit over, baby. We about to tussle. Not actually tussling. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I'm not really putting hands on people
Blink,
unless
blink.
they
I saw
unless
the blink, blink. I saw the blink, blink in the pause, though. I saw the blink, blink in the pause.
but you know, I just it just is, and I'm sharing, and the more that I just sit in who I am, the more okay I am with it. I was really embarrassed in the beginning. I was like, boy, I'm out here. Like, I'm not even doing nothing. Like, I was super vanilla when I came into this. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do any of these things. And then as I grew, I was like, nah, I can't share none of this shit with nobody else. Like, I'm not able to go in and be like, oh, yeah, no. I had to ask somebody, you know, I was wondering what beating them titties feel like. Like, nobody can go into this
You can't just walk
random.
up to somebody and have this casual conversation like that in the office, you know, and then people will be looking at you all kinds of crazy. Like,
Right?
what?
HR right away.
Yeah,
Right away.
yeah. Be like, no, man, you gotta tone that shit
You
down.
gotta
Like, you
tone it
can't
down. You making people uncomfortable. People
uncomfortable.
praying for you at church. Like they're really bothered.
Yeah,
So but yeah. Ooh. Um, let's see. What misconceptions did you have about BDSM before you started, and how have your views changed?
I would say I would say not knowing, right, or just coming into it, or just a lot of people, I guess, seeing it for what it is, not really knowing a lot about it. Um, that it could be looked at as like abusive, um, in a way that it could be, right? And that could be off-putting to some people when that's not the case. Like it's it's based off of principles of consent, communication, and that mutual respect between each other.
Right.
Definitely. And then also that consent is a one-time discussion when it
Not consent was a one-time discussion. That yes lasts for eternity. She said, "Yeah, I can beat her ass on Tuesday. That means when I snatch her ass up on Sunday, that's okay too." That is a negative. That
it's a
is a negative.
negative, and so a lot of people think that. Um and consent for certain activities doesn't roll over to another one. Just because it's
Correct.
okay for this one doesn't mean that it's okay for this one.
Correct.
um so having those questions and asking those things, um definitely. um Let me see. I guess that you got to fit in a certain stereotype to participate too, being one way or the other. um just kind of like you said, I mean, we're not all in the same box. I mean, everybody's free to be who they are, um regardless of whatever background, sexual orientation you are, any of those things. And whatever's good for me may not be good for you.
Mhm.
Don't yuck my yums over here. um so I think those are like misconceptions that I've seen, or that I've had maybe before coming into this, and just learning more about it,
Mhm.
um personally. um or those are things that can truly like stand out, I think, if you don't really know too much about it, or that's what can be seen that way. um
Um,
yeah.
this is making me think about like my misconceptions. Um,
Do
I
tell.
know when I came in, I know when I came in, I was just like, I think I'm dominant, but leather is hot. And can you imagine my body in all leather all the time? And then I have to put like baby oil on to like get the leather up and shit. Like I just, so I don't know if this is for me. And what if it's in the summertime? And I don't really think that my body is like leather pleather material. Cause what I don't want to do is look like the penguin walking around this bitch. You know what I mean? Like I just there's there's standards out here, right? And so just looking at what was forthcoming or what was seen as dominance, especially as a black femme dominant, I wasn't mass presenting. And so there was that, right? And those were the only ones that I really saw like comfortable. Just you dress how you want to dress and how you want to look, and you gotta style, and that's great, and you can like incorporate. But everybody else I saw, it was like 7-inch heels. First of all, I'm tall as fuck. Second of all, I'm clumsy. Can you imagine me? It's with my knees. Yeah, y'all stop playing with me. Not doing it, right? And I was just like, I don't know if I fit into this. I'm more lovey. I'm more like, oh, am I dominant? Very much so. But is it more of a caring aspect of it? Like, what does it look like? Then I looked into caring domination, and I was like, I don't know, because this seems a little too fluff for me as well. Like I was confused. Um, and getting into everything and meeting my community and understanding, hey, I am dominant and I'm ultra feminine, but that doesn't take away from my dominance. And I struggled with like bratty behavior. I was like, I've never heard of a dominant, but I'm supposed to be like, and get down and lick my toenails. You know what I mean? Like in my head, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I was like, I don't feel like doing all that. Sometimes I want to do bratty shit consensually.
Consent.
Okay? Consent. um, And it wasn't until like I really set into all of that and understood I can be a bratty, sadistic dominant. It can be a title of who I am, and it does not take away from my level of dominance. Am I bratty with everybody? Nope. But when our partners go and do that switch round table, do I pout and send ugly face emojis crying because I'm being ignored? Yes, yes,
Yes.
I do. And I'm not
Yes.
ashamed. I'm
Yes.
not-
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because I'm on the receiving end of that. So yes, and then sometimes we'll FaceTime and talk about it.
we
Like,
will, because how dare you ignore me like that? Like, am I not important? You didn't even feed me before you went into this meeting. Let's talk about this. Where's my food? Where's the
well,
wine?
well, I was fed, so I can't be, I can't be upset about it.
That's all right. I'm gonna have a conversation when we get off this phone. Cause
There you go.
where's my chicken?
There you go. Yeah. Where's my shit? Yeah.
What is it? Right? I'm not feeling love. But sitting and learning and evolving into who I am and understanding that I don't have to be like someone else.
Nope.
And that's okay. I'm not meant to be like everybody else. I'm meant to be Miss Locs. And whoever rocks with me. Whoever
Exactly.
doesn't rock with me, they don't
Doesn't.
rock with me. And they're
Exactly.
understanding that there's multiple sides over here. So don't let the smooth taste fool you. Okay? Because as bratty as I am, I'm still a dominant. Like, I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Be easy and safe, big baby. Just pipe down.
Exactly. Exactly. Same.
So,
Because this bear over here, yeah, like
yeah,
I'm cool, calm. Don't take me there. Just don't
right.
do it.
Just
Don't do
leave
it.
1998 to 2000 me back in St. Louis where it's supposed to be. Just allow me to just be amazing.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Me too. Me too. I try to leave the Stockton over there, like I
See
do. Like
what I'm
you,
talking
you
about?
don't. Yeah, yeah, you don't.
um, what are you most curious about or looking forward to exploring further in your BDSM and leather journey?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, whatever.
Hit me with these haymakers.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, that's something I wasn't really ready for. I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just kind of exploring. Like and then I'll be like, oh, I kind of like that. So then, so then I kind of want to take it a little further and just kind of go more with that. So I don't know, like there's nothing that like I kind of just want to be like, oh yeah, I want to know, like I want to know all the things. And so I don't just want to pinpoint it on one thing, or unless it
Mhm.
like really piques my interest, then I want to know more. Then
Right.
I want to know more of the things. But like as far as I want to know everything like collectively as a whole. And so like I'm
Right.
trying to take it just one thing at a time and just kind of going with it. And like I said, whatever piques my interest. Um, like I don't know, rope's a big thing. I mean, everybody wants to know about rope and things. Um,
Looking at rope, I don't really, the way my ADHD is set up, baby, I'll be like halfway through a tie and I'll be like, ooh, squirrel. And then it's just now you halfway tied up. I don't
I
feel
mean,
that rope is for me necessarily, you know?
it's pretty. You know what I mean? It's real time consuming. But
Yep.
I guess maybe basics about it and things like that, and just like, hey, well, I know the basic shit. Like, I can do some basic shit and just kind of roll with it. But if I want to know more and dedicate the time, maybe. Um, Fire kind of piques my interest. Like I definitely want to know more. Needles too. I kind of, have a thing for that. I mean, I know that ain't your forte, but hey, I mean,
Oh, not yucking anybody's yum.
I
I
was,
love it if you love it. But for me, pull out the needles and I'm running. And this comes from somebody that enjoys piercings and want to get all of the tattoos. I just don't want to see it being done. Like, don't put me in front of a mirror while you're stabbing me because then I'm gonna freak out and then it's over.
it piques my interest. You know what I mean? But just like, I mean, and those are like basic ones that I can be like, okay, let's know more. Let's do a little more. But as far as like pointing out like one thing or whatever, I can't really say. I mean, like I
Okay.
said, I kind of want to do a little bit of everything. The more you know, the more you know, and the more you find out about yourself. I,
Very much so. Um, okay, so my final question for you is finally, what would you say to someone who feels drawn to BDSM but might be hesitant or unsure on where to start? And let's not just do BDSM, let's do BDSM in leather because, you know, BDSM is the umbrella, but us being on the leather path, that's a whole nother.
just like anything else, take your time. Um, for me, it's take your time and educate. Um, Getting that start. I mean, I guess whatever piques your interest or whatever draws you to that to kind of get
Mhm.
started with it. I mean, I can't really be like, yeah, this is the starting point and go with that because
Mhm.
it's going to look different for everybody.
Right.
Um, but that would be my 2 cents for that. I mean, just start somewhere,
Yeah.
with whatever piques your interest and just kind of go from there. I mean, I wanted to learn about the history and a lot of things first before I start going further into it. But that's my own thing because I want to know how it got started, how it originated, how all these things, in order for me, I feel like for me as a person to better understand all of the other things. I mean, is that everybody's start? Probably not. I mean, they kind of look at it and then be like, oh, I kind of like this. And then later on, maybe go into the history. But for me, that's where I want to start and kind of evolve from that point. Um, I, I mean, I really don't know how to say where the starting point would be. Um,
No, I think that you're correct. It's the same thing that I would tell people. Everybody's journey definitely looks different. Everybody's starting point looks different. There's been people that, started from swingers, then moved over to kinksters, and then decided to get to leather. There are some people that started off leather and then moved to kinky, but then wanted to be in the swinger community as well. There is no right or wrong way in
yeah,
order to do what it is that we do. There is just, I don't want to say it's not a right or wrong way. It's not a right or wrong way to kind of learn, or a pecking order in which you need to learn.
hmm
As long as you are going about it consensually and safely, then that is all I myself personally feel is needed. Um, I'm big on learning, like actually learning everything, but everybody is not the same, and that's okay.
right,
Um, just understanding what it is that you're trying to get into. So if you're deciding to go in on just the kinkster side, learning that environment, learning what it is to be in those spaces, for things to be consensual, for things to be mutually beneficial, all of that, take the time to figure all of that out. But ain't nothing to it but to do
exactly.
it.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it. And you said everything, truthfully too. I mean, it's just wherever you see your starting point is, and just kind of roll with that. And like you said, make sure it's all consensually, um, and just educate. I mean, educate yourself. Um, that would be my 2 cents.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me with all of these technical difficulties we
Yeah.
had today. Um, but I greatly appreciate you and your time, and being one of my favoriteest people. I'm happy that you decided to go on this little journey with me. Um, and I think that's about it. I want to thank all of the viewers for watching and engaging, and being here for all of our tomfoolery.
All of it.
Please, please make sure, if you enjoy, to like, subscribe, share. Um, I try to make sure that I interact and I engage. All of that is really important to me. So if there's questions about anything that has been discussed here, please don't hesitate to put it into the comments. You can reach me on Foot Life, whatever it is, you're able to reach out. So have a great Monday, and I'll see you next episode.